Hello and welcome to this edition of Culture Mosaic, a weekly journal that brings you the latest updates on the Vietnamese cultural and entertainment scenes. In this week's episode, we will bring you to the world of micro things, from paintings on watch dials to miniature food that can wow viewers by its meticulousness. You will learn more about how these artists could create things that are so small but with great details. Moving on to On the Mic, we will talk to An Lê, an overseas Vietnamese who is also the first one with Vietnamese origin that shoot the cover of Vogue magazine and learn how he could make it to the global arena. So join us in this journey, coming your way in just a minute. Talented Hanoian creates micro paintings on watch dials. Miniature food made by Vietnamese makes an impression in Japan. And later on, join us in our On the Mic with An Lê, the first Vietnamese photographer to shoot the cover of Vogue magazine. Now let's begin with some local news. Dừng Thế Mạng, or Lost in the Jungle, and Bẫy Ngọt Ngào, or Sweet Trap, will be the first Vietnamese films to return to the cinema after a delay of several months. Dừng Thế Mạng, a psychological thriller by director Trần Hữu Tấn, will hit cinemas on December the 31st. It was scheduled to be released in June and was postponed after cinemas in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City closed in May. Meanwhile, the film Bẫy Ngọt Ngào, a romance movie by female director Đinh Hà Uyên Thư, is scheduled for release in mid-December to celebrate Christmas and New Year. 26 Vietnamese movies will be screened for free from November the 10th to the 16th in the runner-up to 22nd Vietnam Film Festival. Chosen films include box office hits such as Bố Già or Dad, I'm Sorry, and Mắt Biếc, Dreamy Eyes, award-winning films such as Rom, and films that have not been introduced on the big screens like Miền Ký ức, Memoryland, and Người lắng nghe, lời thì thầm, or Listeners, The Whispering. The 22nd Vietnam Film Festival will take place for 3 days from the 18th of November in Thừa Thiên Huế. This is the first time the Vietnam Film Festival will be held both online and offline to ensure safety against the pandemic. The Veil White Palace Event and Exhibition Center in Ho Chi Minh City is one of the nominees for an award at the 2021 World Architecture Festival, the world's largest annual architecture event in Portugal. The center, designed by Me Plus Architect, is shortlisted in the Display Completed Building category after being chosen from thousands of entries. Covering an area of 1,000 square meters, the building is inspired by bridal veils, and its openness and sense of materials create a luxurious space. For the first time, Vietnam has 5 culinary world records recognized by both the World Records Union and the World Records Association, according to the Vietnam Records Organization. Accordingly, Vietnam has the largest number of strand and broth dishes in the world and the most kinds of mắm, or fermented seafood dishes with unique flavors. Vietnam also has the world's largest collection of dishes made from flowers, boasts the most kinds of special rolls and dishes made from rice flour. A Vietnamese mandarin hat said to be from the Nguyen dynasty has sold for 600,000 euros at an auction in Barcelona, Spain. The initial price offered by Barclays Auction House was 500 to 600 euros. The 600,000 euros price tag was reached after over 10 bidders tried to get their hands on the item. In the end, the Nguyễn Dynasty antique was sold to an anonymous Vietnamese collector. Miniature art comes in many styles, from engraved gems, wood carvings, clay models to micro paintings, to name a few. Those works of art can be held in the palm of your hand, or even better, wearing them as accessories like these watches. These impressive watch paintings were made by Vũ Thùy Dương from Hanoi, who spent hours every day by her microscope. Though the surface she paints on is a tiny, limited space, she has proved that creativity is borderless. We'll learn more about her works in this week's Cultures and Lifestyle.
Drawing inspirations from classical art and Vietnam's folk paintings, a talented woman in Hanoi has created dozens of miniature paintings on watch dials as small as 3 centimeters in diameter. With a passion for art and customizations, Vũ Thùy Dương took on miniature watch painting nearly a year ago and has made more than 30 so far. The paintings might be tiny, but each will take 10 to 15 days to complete. First, Dương sketches a design on paper. Then it will be transferred onto the watch dial and hand-painted with meticulous care. Some details will be planted if needed, using various materials like gold, abalone shell, or insect shell.
Thực ra thì cái việc mà vẽ một bức tranh nhỏ siêu chi tiết ở trên mặt đồng hồ có đường kính trên dưới 3 cm ấy, thì nó đòi hỏi người họa sĩ ngoài cái khả năng vẽ còn cần phải có sự tập trung cao độ. Ngoài ra thì cần cái sự tỉ mỉ, cẩn thận để không bỏ qua những chi tiết nhỏ. Tất cả những cái thao tác đó thì mình đều thực hiện ở dưới kính hiển vi để đảm bảo cái độ chính xác và đạt được cái độ tinh tế trong bức tranh. Thêm nữa thì vẽ tiểu họa ấy, đòi hỏi những cái dụng cụ rất là nhỏ. Nhiều khi mình mua ở bên ngoài họa cụ nó không đảm bảo được cái yêu cầu vẽ chi tiết, nên là thường về sẽ phải chế lại bằng cách là tỉa các cái đầu bút cho nó nhỏ đi, cho chỉ giữ lại một vài sợi để đi được những cái đường mảnh nhất. Có những cái chi tiết mà mình còn phải vẽ bằng cái đầu bút kim loại đường kính chỉ 0,08 mm.
Choosing a tiny space to paint on is both challenging and satisfying for Dương. Challenges also come from her favorite topics, classical art and traditional Vietnamese art. Dương is fascinated with the way layers of colors are interwoven to create depth for those works and has tried to demonstrate that richness in her own miniature paintings. An example of this is her latest project, The Five Tiger Generals, in which she recreated the Five Tigers Hang Chung folk painting in a set of 5 watches.
Khi mà vẽ nó gặp rất là nhiều khó khăn trong việc xử lý chất liệu, xử lý khối, và cái tranh ở trên giấy, cái cách vờn màu nó khác với việc mà mình tạo khối và tạo màu ở trên chất liệu đồng hồ. Ngoài cái việc lấy chủ đề tranh dân gian ra thì mình còn sử dụng cái kỹ thuật đánh bóng của trong tranh sơn mài truyền thống, và kim thì được nung xanh thủ công, với mong muốn là lưu giữ được cái nét đẹp văn hóa dân gian và khoác lên mình cái tranh dân gian một cái diện mạo mới.
Dương isn't pursuing her passion alone. In fact, she was inspired by her husband, an experienced watch sculptor, to start exploring watch art. Though working with different materials and technique, the duo shares a love for customized watches and often collaborates. In her own projects, when Dương finished painting, her husband will make the finishing touch and assemble the watches. This could well be their unique way of saying, "You complete me," and working together has brought them much joy.
Thật ra là tất cả cái phần mỹ thuật về tranh và thiết kế là của Dương chủ động hoàn toàn. Nếu mà có trao đổi thì mình có thể gọi là tư vấn một chút về cái vật liệu sẽ dùng này. Ví dụ như cái cô gái khuyên tai ngọc trai, mình ở chỗ đấy làm cái cố gắng làm cái khuyên tai bằng ngọc trai thật thì trông nó sẽ rất là bắt mắt. Việc cả hai vợ chồng đều đam mê làm đồng hồ ấy thì nó có cái lợi là có những cái lúc có những cái kỹ thuật mà hạn chế bên chạm khắc thì bên vẽ của Dương sẽ bù vào, ví dụ như cái màu sắc nó đa dạng này, cái độ chuyển màu nó tinh tế hơn. Khi mà hai vợ chồng cùng làm thì mình có thể thực hiện nhiều ý tưởng hơn.
Đưa cái nghệ thuật vẽ tay lên trên các tác phẩm đồng hồ để cá nhân hóa đồng hồ. Mình nghĩ là lĩnh vực đấy nó khá là mới nên mình muốn thử và rất may là mình cũng được mọi người đón nhận. Chính vì đòi hỏi rất là nhiều công sức với lại nhiều kỹ năng như vậy cho nên là khi mà hoàn thiện một tác phẩm thì mình cảm thấy rất là sung sướng và cảm giác như là mình khám phá được bản thân mình và chinh phục được một cái lĩnh vực mới.
Now you've seen how watch paintings were made. Quite interesting, isn't it? What else can miniature art surprise you? Here's another one. Originated in Japan, the trend of making edible miniature food has taken the DIY handicraft world by storm. Within this category of miniature craft, Japan is obviously leading the way. However, a Vietnamese man has recently taken the interest of Japanese viewers with his own miniature cooking YouTube channel. Not only Japanese food, his miniature creations also include famous Vietnamese dishes like bánh chưng and phở, as well as other foreign cuisines. All are edible. In this week Connecting Cultures, we'll meet Lê Thanh Hiệu, owner of Miniature Hiệu Kitchen YouTube channel, to see how he manages to cook tiny food using tiny little utensils and impress Japanese audience so much that he got featured on Japanese TV stations like NHK and Nippon TV.
Tiny ingredients from a tiny refrigerator cooked with tiny kitchen utensils into tiny delicious dishes. This world of miniature cooking was initiated and is still dominated by the Japanese until today. However, a Vietnamese man has managed to impress the audience of the trend's own birthplace with a YouTube channel of 157,000 subscribers, most of whom Japanese. In fact, his content are so interesting that he even got featured on Japan's television.
I'm very surprised. First, the dishes are all very small, but the techniques he used are the same as ours. I saw him make miniature aji furai or deep-fried Japanese horse mackerel, and he did it in the same way as professional chefs do. The way he made the teru sauce impressed me so much. It must be difficult, especially when you have to fillet small fishes. These things are no beginner stops, and he's also very meticulous. He's good.
Cooking by itself isn't easy, let alone cooking in small sizes in such a precise manner. It must be very difficult. What he has been doing is already wonderful, but it's even more impressive to me that he's able to maintain the work. If it's only for fun, I'll consider doing it, but in order to cook so many dishes with precision and careful thoughts and make it into an eye-catchingly edible creation like that, only a special person can do it.
The owner of the YouTube channel Miniature Hiệu Kitchen is Lê Thanh Hiệu, a Vietnamese man born in Quảng Ngãi province and later moved to work in Kanagawa Prefecture in Japan. Watching him meticulously work his ways through his tiny tools, no one would expect that he came from an IT background and is not a professional cook.
Công việc chính bây giờ là làm việc bên IT, nhưng mà có sở thích là nấu ăn, nhưng mà đặc biệt là những món ăn siêu nhỏ. Hồi nhỏ thì hay giúp bố mẹ nấu cơm trưa hay cơm chiều vì đó. Thì cũng dần dần mình tích góp được một cái kinh nghiệm nho nhỏ về nấu nướng, về nêm nếm hay là làm bánh thế này thế nọ. Hầu hết những kỹ thuật để nấu ăn thì nó giống cỡ bình thường. Nhưng mà ví dụ như là hôm trước là có làm cái món takoyaki của Nhật ấy, vì nó cỡ nó quá nhỏ đi, là khoảng 5mm. Nó quá nhỏ đi, thì nếu mình dùng cái tăm xi răng để mình ấy thì cái tăm xi răng nó cũng quá bự ấy, nên mình không thể chỏ nó lên được. tức là mình không có làm cho hình tròn được, nên là mình phải dùng cái kim may đồ thì mình mới trở nó lên được, tức là vì nó quá nhỏ đi. Thì đó là những cái công đoạn mà mình phải tự nghĩ ra, không biết làm sao để cho nó hoàn thiện sản phẩm tốt nhất đấy.
Not only Japanese food, his channel also features cuisines from different countries, Western, Chinese, and Vietnamese. It is a rare sight to see iconic Vietnamese dishes such as bánh chưng, phở, and bánh xèo or Vietnamese pancake presented in such a light, edible miniature forms, cute, delicate, and most of all, deliciously looking.
Mình muốn truyền bá cái văn hóa ẩm thực Việt Nam với một cách đặc biệt, đó là làm trong cái cỡ rất là nhỏ như vậy thì mọi người sẽ dễ dàng đón nhận hơn. Nên là mình bắt đầu làm những bánh xèo hay là phở hay là bánh chưng nữa. Ẩm thực ấy thì nó là một cầu nối mà không có giới hạn. Mình nấu món Nhật thì người Việt Nam có thể biết hơn nhiều món Nhật, mà nấu món Việt Nam thì những khán giả Nhật và những khán giả quốc tế thì có biết hơn nhiều món Việt Nam của mình. Thì đó là một cách mà mình để truyền tải cái thông điệp mà về văn hóa ẩm thực của mình và niềm đam mê của mình. Đó là một cách rất thiết thực, mình nghĩ như vậy.
In the past decade, Vietnamese cuisines have been better and better represented internationally in many different ways. Making edible miniature Vietnamese food is one more fine addition to that. And here, like many of the Vietnamese with passion, is continuing to create and innovate in his own ways to introduce this very important part of Vietnamese culture to the world.
Young photographer An Lê is a Vietnamese artist currently based in the US. He has collaborated with many famous international artists such as Naomi Campbell, Mariah Carey, Sarah Jessica Parker, just to name a few. An Lê is also known as the first Vietnamese photographer to shoot the cover of Vogue magazine. His work, which tackles contemporary life, is famous in the international arena. So let's learn more about photographer An Lê and his message of dream big and beyond the border in this week's edition of On the Mic.
An Lê is a photographer whose work you might have seen in a couple of your favorite magazines. His portfolio includes famous fashion magazines such as Elle, Harper's Bazaar, L'Officiel, Tatler, Vogue, and the list goes on. The 1989-born photographer has had the opportunity to collaborate with famous brands such as Bottega Veneta, Judy Saliba, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, Christian Siriano, as well as top international stars such as Sarah Jessica Parker, John Legend, Rebecca Hall, Coco Rocha. Recently, he collaborated with renowned luxury fashion company Balmain on the fashion campaign.
So today we have an honor and privilege to have An Lê on our show, who has photographed a bunch of famous celebrities and is also one of the first Vietnamese to be featured as a photographer on Vogue magazine. Hello, An.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, could you tell me about that experience? Like, how is it working with Balmain? How is it, shooting videos for them using special effects and doing videos like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the second time I've shot a campaign for them. We wanted to do something totally different. This film that we did was for their pillow bag. So when the brand came to us, we was like, well, I don't want to do another, commercial where like someone holding the bag and, from like different angles. Like, to me, every time I do something, I want to try to do something different. And I've been dabbling into visual effects, in 3D for like 2-3 years now. So we wanted to do something more cinematic, more surreal, and it was like, wow, it could be cool if we have these giant bags, like asteroid.
Yeah, so talking about, the famous brands and the famous people you've worked with. So do you remember the first celebrity you had a shoot with?
That would be Naomi Campbell for actually Bazaar Vietnam cover. Pretty crazy. The first time I shot her, like we had 30 minutes and I had to do like 6 looks and we did 6 looks. Yeah. And literally I had like 5 minutes per look. And I think, and I think after that, she saw how capable I was of working under pressure and still deliver, good quality pictures. And and she always accept whatever project I bring to her, after that.
Aside from Naomi Campbell, which photo shoot is the most memorable to you?
I would say Mariah Carey. Seriously. And the thing is, like, we didn't even reach out to her. She reached out to me.
Crazy.
Yeah, like her team emailed me and say, oh, she want me to shoot her album cover, caution, But but not only that, the shoot itself for me was like 22 hours long. And we did only 7 shots, but every time we shoot something, she changed hair and makeup, and that was taking a long time. But I remember I didn't feel tired at all. And she was very funny and very professional and very nice, like no crazy diva attitude or anything. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable experience.
Before his success, the now New Yorker left Vietnam at 15 years old to pursue his dream as an artist in the United States with his parents' support. An Le studied at the Savannah College of Art and Design. In 2013, he made his mark in the photography industry when he won the New Exposure Contest Grand Prize, which was organized by Vogue magazine and fashion brand Bottega Veneta. The New Exposure Contest is for professional and non-professional photographers around the world, age 18 and over, and only awards its top prize to one winner. The event attracts entries from professionals and skilled photographers. In photography, An Le is more focused on ideas rather than techniques. He believes that the beauty of a photo does not depend on the camera. He also aims to elevate fashion photography beyond the conventional images it's associated with.
So, you left Vietnam when you were 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you fall in love with photography back then, or was it the time when you enter the US?
Actually, photography was never on my mind growing up at all. Like, I was not one of those kids who play with the camera or anything. I was more into actually painting and writing and reading. But then the summer of my senior year in high school, and I was playing around with a digital point and shoot camera, I just kind of fell in love. My sister was my first model.
What is the first style that you think that you created your own?
I would say I love overall just drama and narrative. Like the story I did actually for the Vogue contest, the Old Man and the Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's had a story and cinematic quality to it.
Does integrating Vietnamese culture into your body of work is something that you are usually conscious of?
Yes, and I want to do more and more of it. I went back to Vietnam, and every time I go back there, I always love to, collaborate with Vietnamese designers and models and talents and shoot at, I try not to ever shoot at studios when I was in Vietnam, because I'm like, what's the point? Vietnam has so many beautiful landscapes and sceneries and all that. So, I mean, since COVID happened, but once we can start traveling easily again, I'm planning to do some shoot there and, maybe bring some talents over to Vietnam.
After graduating from college, An Le moved to New York to continue his dream of pursuing art as well as to seek career developing opportunities. He believes the trend in contemporary art is to combine and use many different art forms. He also hopes that he can become a bridge and contribute to promoting the exchange of contemporary art in Vietnam and other countries, especially in the US. At a time when personal style is highly appreciated, and the world is always looking for new talents from all over the world, An Le hopes that his work will inspire young people to dream big and go beyond borders.
it hard being like a Vietnamese photographer based in the US?
Yes, I would say so, but I never give too much attention to that because I don't want to use it as an excuse, or as like to complain. So like even when I first came to New York, instead of using the money for rooms and stuff, I actually lived on my friend's couch for like 6 months. And I would, eat like ramen noodles, like instant noodles or like cheap food. And I used the money all like invested into my photo shoot. For me, it's all about, to create something different. So that's how you stand out. For me, I just always usually just focus on the work. If the work is good, I do feel you will cut through the noise and, get where you need to be. And in New York, you have like thousands and thousands of very talented people, who have connections, who have, family tied to magazines and all that. So you have to compete with all that. So for me, what I have is my dedication to my work. One of the other thing I would say, like, to younger creative is like always push yourself and don't choose the easy route.
Yeah. So, coming from being like a very poor photographer to having worked with tons of celebrities and now having your own agencies, what is your future plan?
Yeah, my future plan would be growing the agency. It's an advertising agency that we handle VFX, concepts, and everything from A to Z. But eventually, maybe, we will represent some new photographers. I could, look at younger photographer from Vietnam even, and see if there's a collaboration opportunity that we could work together and, I could pitch them to some clients. That way, slowly introduce Vietnamese talent, photographers, directors, more. Vietnamese people are hardworking and talented and very humble in a way. So I do want to see more of that in the world stage.
Well, thank you so much, Anle, for participating in our show today, and I hope that you will find more challenges that you love in your future work, and I cannot wait to see more of your beautiful photos.
Thank you so much.
And that is the end of our program. If you'd like to catch us online, download the VTVgo app from your Google Play or App Store, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4go for more of our programs. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Goodbye for now.